Now it's time for our educational segment, Building Blocks of Jazz. In this episode, Phil Dunlop visits with jazz pianist Peter Martin in his new studio at the Centene Center for Arts and Education. There they discuss how sometimes playing the wrong notes can be the right thing to do.
Hello and welcome to the Building Blocks of Jazz. Today we're thrilled to be in the studio of my good friend and pianist, Mr. Peter Martin. Peter, thanks for having us.
Welcome.
So Peter travels all over the world playing jazz music with people like Diane Reeves and Wynton Marsalis. But he also does a lot of work here in St. Louis, not only in the studio, but on his website. Peter, what can people expect on your website?
Well, we've got over 100 lessons now, many hours of instructional videos. We have a lot of fun with it, beginner, intermediate, advanced, a little something for everybody.
Great. Peter is now going to give us a taste of what you can expect on his website. So Peter, take it away.
Today's lesson is on playing the wrong notes, making them sound good. We're going to take a basic F blues. Now you can do this on any instrument, piano, saxophone, horn, bass, vocals. Same concept for everybody. We've got 12 notes in the chromatic scale, and we can use them all. Now, it's just a matter of how we use them. On an F blues, you probably learn the blues scale as the foundation, the harmonic foundation for the notes that we're going to choose for our melodies. And that's great. That's a great sound, a great place to start. But if I solo over just using those notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds good. But it can sound more interesting like this. I'm adding in one wrong note, one note that's not in the blues scale, and that's the major third. So I've got the minor third and the major third. And what happens is that becomes a cool little harmonic thing to play around with my melodies that I don't have if I just stick to the. So I might start out just sticking to it and then throw in that major third to have that contrast and that drama, that harmonic drama represented in my melody. All right? Now, another scale you may know is the dominant scale. That's a major scale, but with the flatted seventh. Great sound, great foundation for any kind of dominant chord, certainly for the F7 at the beginning of this blues. But again, if we only solo with that, we're sort of limiting ourselves harmonically by what we can do with our melodies, sounding something like this. Good sound, but can be a little bit generic without having some of those wrong notes in. So check this out. A little bit more interesting sound. So what's the wrong note that I put in here? You probably heard it, jumped right out at you. That's that flatted fifth or the raised fourth. Tritone away from the tonic, that B natural. So I've got the dominant scale, and I'm adding in the flatted fifth. Okay? Now, a lot of times people say, oh, that's just a passing tone, a passing note. Well, you can do it like that where you're going, but you can also just land on it. I like to do that. And then resolve it down or resolve it up, your choice. But it gives it a much more interesting sound. So most of these scales, and major scales, different kinds of minor scales, you're going to have a chance to pick one note out to add to it that's going to really give it some harmonic interest, okay? You can certainly add more later, but start with one. And really what you can do is you can go through any scale, like say if you're on a C major. Just take, there's always 7-note scales, there's 5 more notes that aren't in the scale. Just try one at a time in your practice, get that in your ear, and you can see how it sounds. Okay? Because, you know, we're trying to be creative when we play jazz. We're not trying to just stick to the rules. The interesting jazz improvisers, you talk about Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, all these great players, they know how to use the wrong notes and to give it that personality, that harmonic personality. All right?
Thanks, Phil and Peter.